Welcome to the Loose and Moose podcast.
I'm Luce.
And I'm Moose.
Two unlikely best friends that I guess love the sound of their own voice, so decided to hit recording.
I can't believe it's fucking Christmas already. What?
What?
Christmas. This week. So when this drops, it will be Eve of Christmas Eve of the real Christmas.
Oh, because AFL...
If you're a football fan, motherfuckers, it's go time. It's back-to-back start of Collingwood being the 2024 premiers. Am I right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Sorry.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I wasn't expecting... I forgot how...
Black and white streamers will be coming out of all my editing on YouTube, so please check it out. I'm up and about. I apologize for everything that will come up in this, but for some reason, we're doing an AFL episode.
I'm already regretting it. You're so cooked already.
I'm regretting it because what the fuck are you wearing? This is like those outfit ones where like the roles have reversed. We're like, all right, let me talk through what?
Adelaide Crows.
Fuck, that must have been going cheap at Savers. All right. Can I talk about mine though?
Yeah, go on.
This was a going away gift at my previous store, and it's the Premier's version of last year's jersey. So
yeah, it is a pretty cool jersey.
It's quite a nice little number.
So what's different about it? It just says Premiers on it.
Yep.
What does it have on the back?
It has the team.
Oh,
and
it has
some
their
cute
names.
shit.
Cute.
So that's pretty cool. And much to your disgust, got a hat on the episode. So first time ever with a hat or a beanie on the episode, because apparently I have a ridiculously sized head that's not fashionable enough to wear anything on my head. So thank you so much, Lucy, for that. But custom, I got my Bruzzy beanie. So one of the best players in the AFL, and thank you to Lukey G for this little present. So how good?
I love the energy, but someone else surely is watching this and agreeing with me. I don't know how I feel about the beanie. Someone back me up.
Yeah, please don't, because like I kind of like wearing hats and beanies sometimes, especially when it gets cold. Like,
well, maybe they won't agree with me. Maybe they will agree with you and say, yeah, go on, Moose, wear your beanie.
Yeah, perfect. Anyway, we're in. Before we go like crazy into AFL talk, should we go with the thing of the week to get us off?
Is that okay with you? Are we allowed to?
Yeah, we got a little bit. I might edit most of it out, but let's start non-football and then we see where it lands. Or have you got a football thing of the week?
Oh, I don't. Do you want me to think of one?
No. Go with what you're going with.
Mine. My thing of the week is a question.
Okay. What
is your stance on putting your trolley away after you finish putting your groceries in your car?
Non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm. Like, as in, it's non-negotiable that you have to put it away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer. I thought you were going to give me that answer. I just am curious. I read something, I'm pretty sure it was our friend Jessie that posted it once, that like the trolley is like the ultimate test of someone's like morals, because there's no law that says you have to.
No.
It's just you're a shit dude if you don't.
Yep. Imagine when they first met, both being into cars and just going to see like, what's Matt going to do? Like, let's go shopping. First dates, Woolies.
But no, the reason I thought of it is because of a cringe of the week. Okay. So as always, my thing of the week rolls into a cringe of the week. I went to this Woolworths that I hadn't been to in years because it was like right near where I used to live, and I just happened to be in the area, and the memories came flooding back. We're talking like 12 or 14 years ago. One of the biggest cringes I've ever had. So I was like struggling because you know that moment where you're like, I don't need to carry my trolley. I don't need my trolley. I can carry my groceries to the car. Yep. And then you're regretting it because your arms are full and you're like, I should
bags are about to break.
Yeah. Should have just taken the trolley all the way to the car park, but whatever. And I'm like struggling to get to the car. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Someone's left a trolley like right at my boot. So not only am I struggling with my groceries, I'm going to have to move this trolley out of the way to be able to get my groceries in the boot. Who does that? That's so rude. So I was angry as fuck. And I just kind of, because I had all my hands full, I just kind of like, I don't know, hit the trolley a little bit to the side, like with my body somehow. And then I put all the groceries in my boot, but the trolley was like still in front of my car, so I couldn't just reverse out. And without thinking, I just moved it away from my car. Like I did nothing in my brain was like, I should put this away because this is not my trolley. Like someone
watched you do this.
Yeah. So My thought was just, I'll just move this out of the way of my car so I can leave. But as somebody was just coming down the escalator to get to their car, all they see is me with this trolley, put it right in front of their boot, and then get in my car.
It's not mine, I promise. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
Yeah. So then, and I still didn't click that any of this was happening. And I get in the car and I'm reversing out, like, having a great time, whatever. And then as I'm reversing out, this man is just standing at the boot of his car like this.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
And I just was like, what's he shaking his head about? I don't get it. And then I'm realizing what I've just done. So he thinks I did to him what someone did to me.
Well, you did.
Yeah. But like, it wasn't my trolley.
Well, it wasn't fucking his trolley, was it?
Yeah.
So now he's putting it on the next person's car.
Yeah, probably.
Hope that's not Jesse's. Man.
But yeah, the cringe came flooding back to me when I was at that Woolworths the other day. I was like, that's right. That was one of the worst moments ever. Like that moment when I'm already driving away and it's too late to do anything about it.
That's a really good story. I fuck with that. It's not a cringe, but like you've got me thinking about, I've always had shitty cars, but first car, this is where the moose plates was on this car. Little Corona. Brown number, was beautiful. Bought it off mum for like, I don't know, a couple of dollars. I remember waking up and here's how good my friends are, living in the Mount. Friends have obviously had a big night out and they've somehow like stole a keg from a pub, right? So I woke up and I've got a keg sitting on my fucking boot of my car.
On your boot?
On my boot. So I'm like moving it off and it was a piece of shit anyway, but I'm like a 16-year-old kid. I'm like, it's still my pride and joy, right? And it like scratched a bit of the boot and shit. I'm like trying to find who the fuck it was. And I was just like, there's a keg on my, like we don't even live near a pub. Like how did that even get here?
Yeah, another story where I'm like, a woman would never do that. Like what is wrong with men?
Metagamurans, all right. Anyway, I love that. That was good. That was a good one. Mine kind of is a good one, and I'm going to try and challenge you, which is what we try and do in each of anything we say to each other. It's only funny if one of us is being an asshole to the other person, correct?
That's what everyone says.
So I finished.
Oh no.
Here's me trying to be better than everyone again. I finished a fucking book on the weekend, right? Like, how good. But it was a Silverchair book, Love and Pain, the new one with Chris and Ben telling their side of the story, which is actually a really cool book. If anyone is into Silverchair, one of the best Australian bands of all time, I've now not stopped listening to them. I was teaching Ella some guitar songs. It was just awesome, but great book. And I was just thinking, like, that was one of our resolutions. So I was just going to put you on the spot and ask, what book that you finished this week or this year.
I've seen every TikTok there is about Taylor Swift.
Hey, that probably counts with the amount of time that would have taken. But no, mine was just that. It was just nice over the weekend. I actually made some time to actually, and I got hooked in. I started reading and then like it was one of those times I just did not want to stop. And that's just so funny with the kids too, because you need to like preoccupy them and get them doing something cool so then you can sit there and actually read before they get bored. But I got through it and it was a really cool story. I was expecting them to actually like rip on Dan so much more. Because like technically he just kept breaking up the band every time he wanted to. Yeah. And then, they'd play some huge festival. He's like, no, actually I love the band. Let's do an album. And then it'll get to the point of like, hey, I'm sick of that now. I'm going to go do my other things.
Yeah. And they didn't?
Yeah, and they didn't. They were very, like you could tell, like obviously they're a little bit hurt, but it was actually quite a cool thing. And it's just crazy to think like they were 15, 16, 17. Yeah. Like I remember I messaged one of our mates, the Born with the Beanie, again, shout out to Luke, and just been like, Emotion Sickness is one of the best Australian rock songs of all time. He instantly wrote back and he's like, that guy was 19 when he wrote that.
Yeah.
Like 19 when they were doing Diorama. Yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
It's insane. Wild. And then they just had like, it was really cool. They'd have like a chapter, then you'd have a chapter and I have a chapter. And then in between they'd have like just, hey, 1995, we're opening for Chili Peppers in the States and this is how they punked us on stage. And she was just like so cool, like all of these stories, which, I don't think they've been that open with like their story, right? It was just really cool just to get an insight.
That. I need to read anything, really.
Hey, it's free. So if you want to, I'll finish with it. I can drop it off.
Did you listen to it or read it?
No, I bought it. I think the kids got it for Christmas for me.
Oh,
so
cute.
It was cool. So I've got it if you want it. So.
Aww.
But yeah, really cool. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out.
And yeah, that's good. And thanks for the reminder. I need to actually read something.
Yep. 7 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
It's go time.
Let's go. I can envision like all the football music I've got now and the cheers. Moose is walking down the change rooms onto the MCG. Taylor Swift is gone and footy is back. Cost us, because that's like footy blood in us, right? It cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix the MCG because all you guys fucked it up. But it's back. It's green. It's Thursday night footy. We're ready to roll.
Actually, that reminds me when did I imagine this or did this really happen when I was telling you that there was seats on the ground at the MCG for Taylor Swift and you were like, I hope they don't ruin it.
Yeah. My boys are playing there very shortly.
Don't ruin the grass.
Look after those knees. I know we've spoken about it, but it's funny for anyone listening that hasn't seen it. But there was a very cool GIF going around on Insta with Taylor Swift, and it had like Bobby Hill and Taylor Swift, and it was just like that she's reached out to the last person that's dominated the G.
Yeah,
for
that was
tips.
pretty funny.
If anyone's missed that, Collingwood won the grand final last year, so go back and fucking watch it, you psychopaths.
You've got it recorded, I'm sure, on DVD or whatever.
Yeah, VHS, DVD, fucking, I don't know, KO. I've got everything. So up and about. So yeah, this week for football fans is everything. So I'm sure we'll get into it, but we joke in our little group chats around this because it's huge, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the games. We've got fantasy footy. We're ready. We need to get our bets ready. You need the right bottle of wine to have on Friday night footy.
Yeah.
So
It is a big deal.
I'm up and about. I feel like this is like the Taylor Swift episode for,
It is.
for you. You're going to sit there
reverse.
like, oh, cool. When does he stop talking? Shortly? Nice.
Can I kick it off though?
Go.
Because this has been planned. I've just been waiting for the right time ever since we started the pod. It's a big thing for me to talk about. I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah.
Try your absolute best to be unbiased here.
Okay.
But I want to know what your opinion is about being an adult and switching teams. Because I'm wearing an Adelaide Crows t-shirt. I grew up in country South Australia, and from being a little kid, the earliest memories I have is we loved footy, we loved the Crows. I have real vivid memories, mum jumping up and down cheering that the Crows had won. So I don't know what I'm jumping up and down cheering about, but I did.
Yeah. And
it was just always a thing. I love the Crows. I had all the merch. I would go to their games. I got all their autographs. I found when I was moving our house last year, I found a book report I did in year 5, and you could pick anything at all to write about. And I wrote about the Adelaide Crows.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. And when I moved to Adelaide...
Did you get an F for it? Sorry.
When I moved to Adelaide, I would go to games every game I could go to. I lived in North Adelaide, so we'd just go down to Adelaide Oval. Or actually, when I first moved here, I would go to West Lakes to... What was that place called? Amy Stadium?
Yep.
Yeah. And then I loved Crows so much. And then, I'm not going to lie, I lost interest after 2017 when I feel like you're such a loyal supporter all these years. And in 2017, Crows got into the grand final, and I feel like they just botched it. It was like they didn't even try. I'm sorry. Obviously they would have tried, but I just felt like they weren't even in the game, and it was all this for such a letdown. And then I just felt like it was just really hopeless to keep going for the Crows. So I didn't stop going for them, but I just kind of lost interest in footy, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then all these years of knowing you, you've always been going on about Collingwood, because I met you, I think, after 2017, right?
Yeah.
So I'd already kind of lost interest in footy. And I remember wearing black and white to work because you said we had to, because Collingwood were playing that day. And I remember pretending, oh yeah, whatever, I'll care about Collingwood. But I never actually cared at all until last year. Yeah. I came to your house to watch the prelim final, and it was so exciting. I was like, oh my God, I'm going for a team that's actually winning for once. This is so fun. And then from there, I started to learn all about the Collingwood lore, all the players. There's so many interesting stories there. And then after winning the grand final, I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with Collingwood now. Like, I cannot stop like looking at their like social media stuff and learning all about all the players. Like, I'm obsessed with Mason Cox. I fucking love him. Like, and like, I love hearing all the stories of the whole thing with in the premiership where if they won, it was going to be Darcy Moore's dad giving him the cup, and it actually happened. And then like the Dacos brothers, like there's so much. And like, I'm literally like actually seriously conflicted because my whole life, 30 years of being like a loyal Adelaide Crows supporter, and now I'm like so enamored with Collingwood, and I'm like, can I just switch teams?
Welcome aboard.
I actually feel like if I had a Collingwood t-shirt, I would have wore it. But then I just feel yucky about it. Like, that's so shit to just switch teams. But yeah, I really want you to try and be unbiased here and give me your opinion. If I wasn't going to switch teams to go for Collingwood, if it was something else, how would you feel? Like, try your best to be unbiased.
Okay. Well, I think you know the answer here. Like,
I know that. That's what I mean.
Your story then was just like, it's so emotive and you've got the right reasons. If it wasn't Collingwood, it'd be a fuck no, though. You don't fucking change teams when you're old. I did change teams. I think we've...
yeah, but you were young.
I was young, right? And brainwashed. But I was just thinking like through the lens then, if I'm like imagining my kids like in like 20 years and they do that, I'm like, you're on your own now, kid.
I know.
Jackson, never heard of her.
Yeah, that's why I feel so yuck about it. Like, and
it feels good though, doesn't it?
The lore. There's so much lore. Like, they're just so interesting. Like, I don't know if it's honestly, has Collingwood just hired a marketing person that is really amazing and has just marketed them to be so interesting, or if they actually are interesting. But I just feel like I don't care about Adelaide Crows anymore. Like, they're not interesting. Like, back in the day, the golden age of like Andrew McLeod and Mark Cresciuto and all that, like, I feel like we haven't had that forever. Except for like Charlie Cameron, he's cool, but then he's not even in the Crows anymore. So like, so if I was telling you this exact story right now, but it was like Hawthorn or something, what would you say?
You've sold it that much where there's enough reasons why. It's not like you're just doing it. But I just want to give myself a little bit of credit now because I feel like surely I've done such a good job.
Yeah, you say you want to be an influencer.
Boom.
You are.
I've influenced the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Doco that like they had literally announced today that's going to come out in Hoyts. Like, what other AFL club like does like their premiership like documentary and it goes to cinemas? Like, this is Taylor shit kind of This is Taylor shit kind of Swift. Speaking of really cool things that Collingwood do, there's a list of them. But have you heard about the ladder thing they did last year?
No.
So in the finals, they had a ladder in the change rooms, and it worked out like the amount of wins they needed, and the last one would be the grand final. So this would have been like very early on, and they did this. So after every win, and they showed snippets in the doco that's coming, where they then like spray painted them after every single little win, and had like this cute little like sentimental thing that they all did. It's just, they're just fucked. It's just the best club ever.
So that's something I've been thinking about with the law. The more I learn about them, the more I'm thinking, have they been so successful with the premiership because there's like such a focus on culture? Like, they all seem to, that's cool. Like, I saw a video of them like dancing the other day for like a warm up, doing line dancing or whatever they did. And like, there's heaps of stuff like that where like culture building, where any team's going to work better if they have cool shit like that.
Yeah.
Is that their coach that's behind that, or is there a whole team behind that? Like, what is that a big reason for the?
I think so. Like, it's funny because like 2 or 3 years ago, we were like in the bottom couple.
Yeah.
And then, we moved on from Bucks and got McRae in, and they just said like it was literally just like night and day from them. And then like literally that year where we like nearly got into the grand final, winning all those close games, everyone thought it was a fluke. So coming into last year, they were expecting us to be crap because it's like, well, you've only just won these games.
Yeah.
And then they did it that whole year. But yeah, you watch a lot of the media stuff. But I think all clubs that you see now, like that's just such a focus. You know what I mean? Like they've just got such a cool team. Supporting the coaches, where it's just such a big deal. Like, that's what I love about footy as well, is like it's a business, right? Like these guys get paid a lot of money, and there's a lot of people that invest money into loving, this passion. where they have to think like every other business now. You know what I mean? Like these athletes are trained so well across media and finance and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're professionals. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, it just seems super fun in that club at the moment, as it would be when you're winning. But the culture thing is just next level.
Yeah. Like I do think that has to be a huge reason for it, because I mean, I feel like I find it interesting because you're the same. In our day job, we are coaches. Like we're coaches, like sales coaches. And I think there's like a sigh of relief with people when they're like, they're expecting like a talk about like stats and KPIs, and then you're just like, how's it going?
Yeah,
did you see
like
that thing on TV the other day? Like, and they're like, oh, wait, what? So surely there's something like that going on there where they're like, oh, we fucking danced at training today. It was sick.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we spray painted a ladder. Like, I don't know. I find it really interesting. We've established that it's a fuck yes to switching teams.
Fuck yes. Mm-hmm.
But would you say fuck no, though, if like genuinely if it was a different team I was talking about right now?
Fuck no. Yes.
So that means I'm still on the fence, because I think morally it's wrong. You should
told me last year that you're 100% on Collingwood. We're on. It's a fuck yeah. You kept the fucking scarf on and you hate the scarf. As in, like, not the actual scarf, Collingwood fans, just me wearing a scarf. But it's probably just the me part that you didn't like.
I don't think it looks that good in the camera. But I like the combo. Maybe you can just go for two teams.
Yeah. Whichever one wins, surely.
Like, Crows is that, like, your family member that you have to hang around with because, you know, your family. And then, you know, Collingwood's a new fun friend that you're like, I just love them so much.
Yeah, I'll have that scarf back, please. We're not a two-team family here.
Anyway, so we've established that it's a fuck yes to me being a Collingwood fan. And, we've established that you fully influenced that. Do you think that you can put into words how much you love footy, or not even how much, sorry, we know how much you love it, calling it Christmas, and you've all seen the push-up video, I'm sure.
It's still one of my favourite shorts.
Yeah.
That was an early one too.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was smashing buttons and doing push-ups and talking about dick push-ups. Go back and watch it. Unless you're not 18. And
anyway, we can all see how unhinged you are. So we know how much you love footy. Can you articulate why?
I've tried to write down a couple of things, but so this week for me, with it coming, like it literally feels like Christmas. Like I love the banter of footy, like, and that doesn't matter who you follow. It's like a conversation starter. You know what I mean? If you're, you know, anywhere and it's football season, it's just something to talk about.
Yeah, true.
What I love though, like, you know, just even at a game, when I'm talking about conversation starters, it just goes to like you're at the bar and like, or you're anywhere after a game and you're wearing a Collingwood thing. Like it's like we're family straight away. I don't even know you. And it's just like, you know, we're hugging, we're high-fiving. Like it's literally like, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Like I did lose interest there for a few years because I didn't, you know, my team was losing.
Yeah.
But like that is what I loved about it. Like the banter.
Yeah.
The vibes.
Yeah, and there's always something going on. Like obviously, a group of my friends, like we do fantasy footy, so that means like you watch pretty much most games because you've got skin in the game all the time. Because it's like it doesn't matter what team it is. It's like, oh fuck, I've got player X and Y here, so I need them to do well. So that takes up a lot of time. I feel like you got a question there before I move on. Go.
Did I cut you off? Or were you saying something else? Just what's fantasy footy? What actually is it?
So there's like 18 people in our group, so same as like the amount of teams in the AFL. And you choose your own team. So you got like a salary cap. So you build your own AFL team. And then so you have to, like, you can't just pick all the best players because you have a certain amount of money you can spend, right? Yeah. So you have to field a team. And then like for a handball, a kick, a turnover, a goal or whatever, you get different points for what they do. And the aim of the game is obviously like if we both had teams, like I go up against you and we all have our individual players. So if we're watching Collingwood and Crows, for example, we could have 4 Collingwood people and 4 Crows people and we're watching them inside the game of what they're doing. So if they're kicking a shit ton of goals or getting heaps of touches and stuff, you're gaining points.
Oh, okay. So your like fictional team is built up of all the players that play that week, no matter what team they're from, they get a goal, your team gets a goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aim of the game is then obviously you score more points than the rest, but like we go, like this same group has been together now for 3, 4, 5 years. Like, and you, like it's a paid league, so it's $100 buy-in or something like that. So prizes like are quite good because it's $100 for everyone to put it in. And there's like first, second, third, and like a bottom 8, and it's, you just play throughout the whole season, and then there's like finals and stuff. So it just keeps you so interested in all the games because it could be like 2 random teams, right? You know, North Melbourne are playing GWS, and no one really cares about that on a Sunday. Sorry if anyone goes for them. But if you've got 2 or 3 people in it, and it's like the last game of the round, and I'm about to kick your ass, like it's just another layer of banter.
Yeah. So does that mean that you have to personally watch and count all the points, or does someone else work
the
it
app,
out?
like you just got an app, so you just like open up the app and it'll show you live.
That's
like it's
cool.
It's insane. They do it across like all sports, basketball, NFL, everything.
Yeah, I knew that I've heard the term. I just never actually knew what it was.
So it's like that, and then it's like, I don't know, like, you know, there's always the banner around like bets, like you throw on, like I always do like 50 or $100 start of the year and try and like bet through it, and then that's silly because I'll just bet everything on Collingwood and then like get stupid and do it after a few wines. Like, yeah, we'll win by 150,000 points. Then you don't. And then like just everything, like what we're doing now, podcast. Like I love, you know, listening to all that sort of stuff because it's just like people that are so passionate about something, and like you can just listen to just the Collingwood ones or the band, or like for us, you know, we talk about Cox all the time, but stuff like that. Like there's a few current AFL players that actually have them, and that's just such a ridiculous insight for something that's a professional sport. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
So I don't know. There's so much to love, and then like I always like think about it. Like for me, I think this came up at the start of the pod series for us where we're talking about like summer and winter. Like I genuinely love Friday nights when it's just like middle of winter, shitty weather, and I just go home, red wine, beautiful dinner, Friday night footy's on. Like it's just a vibe.
It is a good vibe. Like I did at your house once last year, and that's what got me interested in it. Do you do footy tipping?
Yeah.
Because I used to really get into that back in the day. I found that really interesting.
I had a great question on that for you actually, but
really?
sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no.
I was talking to a mate about this, and his partner was in tipping, and they won recently, and it was awesome because she was literally did not give 2 shits about football. It was just going on the color of the jerseys.
That's
and legitimately
amazing.
won. It's just like, nah, brown and gold, Hawthorn, and that's good because they suck. But then like, you know, black and white.
That's
fuck
so
yeah.
funny.
So I think that's funny. But I also remember that as a kid. I feel like that was such a family thing, right? You'd have the thing out of the advertiser or whatever. It's up on the fridge and everyone's like putting their tips in.
Yeah, I used to love it at school. And I remember actually being good at it. I didn't pick it because of the colours or anything.
Yep.
I think I was always like, that team's meant to be good, so they should win. Like I don't know. I just had an instinct for it maybe.
Yeah.
I'm out of touch now, but yeah, I used to froth it.
You kind of opened it up before, but I guess like I was intrigued with like personal history with AFL. Like I feel like it seems cool because you remember at a young age that. Like is that like a really cool memory like with like your dad, for example, or family and stuff like that? Like
Yeah, it's actually more my mum, honestly.
How good?
I have this really vivid memory of mum likes to get in bed and watch TV. So like Friday night footy, she'll be in bed watching it. And like I said, I didn't know what was going on, but I remember her like getting out of bed and jumping on the bed up and down and
so
like
much.
forcing me to jump up. And she's like, woohoo! And we'd won some game to get into a final, I reckon. I reckon it was probably 97.
Yeah.
So I would have been like 5 years old, and I'm just jumping up and down on the bed, and I didn't know what was going on. And then mum went to the 97 and 98 grand finals.
That's insane.
And like to me, I was like so excited. I was like watching her on TV, like watching the TV to see if I could see her on TV.
Yeah,
which
she's
is
one of those ants there.
Yeah, like, and then I just Dad was never hugely into it.
Okay.
Like over the years, he's gotten more into it. But yeah, I don't
Crows
know.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're a Crows family.
Asterix.
Yeah. But they're not like, I feel like my dad's not that typical kind of AFL dad that has always been into it. He was always into like more like car racing, like Formula One and stuff. So he would watch it a bit, but then over the years got more into it. I don't think that they would actually care if I like switch teams. It's just an interesting thing. Like I've always thought you should be loyal.
Yeah. I love that, hearing that with your mum now. I want to invite her over for a game this year.
Oh,
she would love that too.
Yeah. I think she would be the same as me though. Like she would get like all enthralled in the like.
Look over, we're jumping on the couch.
Yeah, she would be jumping on the couch for Collingwood though because she just gets excited.
I
Like
love
that's
that.
where I get my excitement from.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think at school as well. Like I think I was always in a country school, primary school. Like it was always cool to like footy.
Yep.
So it was always like, you know, on a Friday, like who's going to win this weekend? I go for Crows. What about you? Like that's my little kid voice apparently. I don't know.
And then the Monday would be like the review of that, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's got that strut if they've won or,
Yeah. And also I think like I was in reception in grade 1 when Crows are winning their back-to-back grand finals.
Crazy.
So like to me as a kid, like being like, I go for the best team ever.
Yeah.
And then of course that always is going to be the case.
And that's like for our kids now, like how lucky are they?
Yeah.
Well, unlucky at the same time. They've got like 2 parents that are just crazy.
Yeah.
But they've literally in a period where that's what they know.
Yeah.
Side story on the 97-98. This won't make heaps of sense to everyone at home, but in our gig, Lucy talks about it on the tattoo episode last week with putting the little code on there. We have a manager that we had years and years ago, good friend of ours, that was the biggest Crows fan of all time. Like probably still is, I guess, if they're still in the AFL. But 97-98, when he started at our job, he literally scored the number 97-98.
I still can't believe that's actually true.
Fucking wild.
I still don't think that's true. Like I know it is, but I still don't believe
How does that work for the biggest fan ever?
Yeah. Like mine is literally just random. Like 41053 means nothing to me. It means I was the 41,503rd employee in the company.
Yeah.
But he was the 9,798th employee.
Insane.
Like, how did he get so lucky?
Yeah. This is a dude that walks around, like when we work together, he'd be putting up the bloody DVD of the back-to-back. It's just like always like 97-98, you're beauty.
Yes.
Like all the time.
Because I had never met this guy and I'd always heard this iconic story that every single morning meeting in your little team huddle, he would finish it by saying 97-98.
You're beauty.
Yeah. Like, that's iconic. And then I finally got to meet him and he said, oh, you won't know who I am. And I was like, 97-98 back to back. And he was like, oh my God. But yeah, like I still don't believe that's true.
I love that. That's just so cool. It's so
He must have rigged it.
Potentially. Imagine if I was talking about this again last week. Imagine if it was one staff person off and it was like 97-99. How bad would that
He'd be like, nah, I quit. Well, no, legit, if he was 97-97, he'd be like, I'll quit and then rehire me at 97-98.
Before someone else does.
That's so funny.
That's a great story.
Yeah, what a legend.
I guess like for me, like with that, like I guess we went into me from Hawthorn and swapping and went to the G, so I won't go back into that.
How old were you, sorry, when you swapped?
Like probably 5, 6, something like that, like super young.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just thought like when I was thinking about this question, it pops up on my phone quite a bit, but one of my favorite photos ever, like I'm now like with my personal history, now I'm thinking about as a dad with kids because I'm so lucky with having a 3, 5 and 9, like they're all kind of in that stage, but especially Jack's last year, my middle one. Like he started Auskick for the first time. Aww. And we got to go to the Collingwood Port game here in Adelaide. And it was the 2 top teams. Like Friday night, it was wet as, like Lauren's on the hill having the time of her life. I'm on the ground being a goal umpire. Jax is on the thing. I'm like, I think I was enjoying it more than he was. But there's a photo of us because we both have the 125th anniversary jersey. So it has 125 with us just like the back with just me and him holding it. I'm like, it's one of my favorite photos as I'll obviously put it up on YouTube. But it's one of my favorite photos as a parent.
It's a really cute photo. I love that photo.
And it's like a generational thing. I'm like, imagine if I had like, you know, my dad or even Ethan and that in there as well. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that like, you know, it means so much, you know what I mean? Like most people will watch this and like, it's footy, like who cares? But like it's more than that, right? Like
we should actually organise that. You should get your dad that premiership jersey and then get
that
it
generational
for the kids.
Thing. Yeah.
That would be really cute. And Ethan too, I guess, but like all of them in a line. That would be so adorable.
But anyway, so like I was sort of thinking like that, and it's Auskick. We've spoke about it before, but like Melbourne for me, like you've just got back from Melbourne. Like I'm like, if I'm in Melbourne, I don't go to the footy. I feel like I've wasted a trip. Like that's how much Melbourne means like footy for me. Like,
yeah, true.
Yeah, like it's just, you know, I'm like this all the time. Like I will literally put merch on every time Collingwood plays. Like I don't know, I'm just like ingrained where I'm like, you know, okay, the footy's starting. I'm like I think we will literally lose the game if I'm not decked out in black and white.
Yeah, it's like a ritual. Yeah. I fully get that. I was the same back in the day when I used to watch every Crows game.
Yeah.
Because it's true though, right? If you don't wear their merch, they will lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they lost so much last year, because you weren't wearing it.
Yeah, true. I'm the reason that Crows have lost for years.
uh,
Speaking of going to Melbourne and going to the footy though, I obviously only really grew up going to the footy in Adelaide.
Yeah.
The very first time I went to the MCG, I was blown away. And we just randomly went, I think my parents had something on because we have family in Melbourne. So they were doing something with the family and they said, kids, do you want to go to the footy? We'll just drop you off. And me and my brother went to just a random game. It was Geelong versus Carlton, I reckon.
Yeah.
We just went for something to do. It's kind of wild that they just dropped us off
you go.
to the MCG. And I was just, I think I was like 12. So maybe old enough to, I don't know.
Maybe?
I don't know. This is years ago.
Is
So
like the
maybe
jet
it was
ski
different.
story all over again?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, it was that same day. She's like, I've had enough of you.
You've just finished the jet ski. Now you go to the G by yourself.
But anyway, yeah. So the game had already started, and they were like, "Oh, quickly, you could go. It's fine." Because we're going to go do something else. I don't know what it was.
Yep.
And I remember, just going up, and I think I was like, not really believing we could still buy tickets when it was already started. And I was like, "Can we have 2 tickets, please?" And they were like, "Yeah." And it was literally the highest you could go in the nosebleeds. And I remember just being like, this is so high up. What the hell?
Scary up there,
It's
right?
actually scary.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you fell, you would, it's like you're falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
You just didn't get that in Adelaide. It wasn't as big.
No, it's insane. Like when you go there, it's just such a crazy stadium. So I guess like bringing up being at the footy, brings up probably one of the points that's like the best and potentially the worst about sports in general. So I think we could probably open up some conversations about like how I kind of call it like, I feel like when people like enter the turnstiles, it's kind of like they change persona.
Yep.
It's like white line fever for most people.
Yeah.
Some people are very, very good at it. Some people are extremely bad. And then people like me that are now trying to be better.
Like some of it's funny.
Yeah.
Some banter is really funny. Some people just take it a bit too far, a bit
Yeah.
too seriously.
Yeah, and then I guess now like going there with kids, like, and I was there, and I'm like sitting here and saying I was, but like there's a line now. You got to like it's a family friendly environment. I guess like I'm just gonna open it up because like there was this crazy story back at Amy Stadium that you were talking about here in Adelaide. We used to live like 5 minutes from there. It was great, and working at Westlakes, used to go to games like just all the time.
Yeah.
And then walk home. But there was a Collingwood Crows game I think there, and we definitely had
Few yeasties.
few yeasties. So it started like normal, right? It was friendly, you know, having a bit of fun when each team was kicking goals and, you know, carrying on a little bit. And then I think like, you know, a few more drinks on and then, you know, a certain team started winning. So then like, as always, the other team, like it's not as funny when your team starts losing, right? And everyone's been in that space where if you start losing, you start feeling bad, like it starts to cut you a little bit.
So you're saying your team was losing and you were feeling bad, or
Nah.
they?
We were winning.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
So then I guess like we would have been getting like more and more up and about. And I'm sure like when goals were getting kicked, we're, you know, like starting to jump up and, I don't know, maybe turning around and, you know, having a little bit more fun. And, you know, fun for us is maybe not fun for these lovely old couple that were behind us. And it kept going on. And I guess it was getting to the point where we probably should have calmed down a little bit. And maybe they shouldn't have said what they said. But it all finished with them like literally looking at me and calling me a I think it was something around the line, like, you know, you guys need to sit down, you silly little.
I mean, that's what I want to say to you when you get really crazy.
Yeah, so there might have been a bit of peacocking. A couple of feathers were falling off at the time. I don't know. Anyway,
So funny. Do you remember what you were saying or doing, or not really?
I reckon like we were just like nothing crazy, but embellishing and like probably turning around and high fiving and just I guess rubbing it in that we were kicking ass. I don't think we were swearing that much to them, and it would have been just a bit of a frustration thing. And like, hey, fair enough. Don't agree with the word, and I'll probably beep that one out. But
I love that word.
Do you?
It's funny.
Okay.
I love it. Sorry if I've said it to you before, definitely.
I'm not opposed to it. I just try not to say it a lot.
Yeah, okay. You're the nice guy.
Anyway, so that was probably the worst that I've seen. But then like yeah, I guess now having kids and going with a different idea, like I definitely love the banter and the fun, and there's nothing better than like, you know, especially when the crowd goes a little bit quieter and then someone says something genuinely hilarious and you
Yeah.
can hear like half the stadium laugh.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit like that is so good.
Yeah.
Um,
I do love the random funny shit people
It's
say.
always the random stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like it'll be an umpire that has no hair and be like, get a haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Just or saying names wrong. I love when
Yeah.
people just do something like that, or they keep saying like the numbers from like old school players. Like I just little shit like that. I
Yeah.
love like where it's like they've really thought about that. Like
That's funny.
if
Yeah,
they've done to me, they've tried this for like 23 rounds, and they've got that person sitting next to them like that's the funniest joke ever.
Yeah,
They're like,
they're
I've said that all year, no one's laughed.
sitting at home writing jokes.
Yeah, maybe not be able to use that all of next season now. Thank you so much. But yeah, and then I think like my favorite thing is obviously like cooked behavior is now probably at the Moose residence. Like watching football with my family is it's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not even the worst I've seen actually.
Yeah.
I remember having this friend growing up where like quite often we go to her house on the weekends and we'd always kind of want to hear her dad watching the footy because it was so funny. Like we would be out in her backyard and just hear him screaming and he would say the funniest shit as well. And it was like a known thing that if you go to her house, you got to listen to her dad watching footy. And like I think it's funny. He'd be by himself in the living room screaming at the TV, and I just think that's so funny. Like at least, well, hang on, do you do that alone? I'm thinking you only do it when people are around.
Honestly, like there's not often now I'm not. I remember Lauren picking her mum up from the airport one time was when we were living in Glenelg, because it was just us two. And she got home from a Friday night. I think we were in the finals or something. And I got home and I was fucking plastered as well. Like she's like, are you just sitting here like literally getting absolute? They could hear me from the car park and they walked in and I'm like half a bottle of whatever we're drinking deep. And I'm like, I was up and about and no one else was there. And Lauren's mum hasn't seen us for ages to get in like, who the fuck is this drunk guy? So yeah, I'm pretty cooked.
So, like, I do think you pull it off. I will say sometimes the banter I've seen in crowds, it's a bit cringe when people like your team gets a goal. Sometimes the way people like peacock about it is cringe. Like if a player has just kicked a goal and anyone on that team is like, yeah, doing all the cool stuff that they do, it's fine. But if a spectator is doing that, it's like, that gives me the ick.
Don't I do that?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's what I mean. I think you pull it off.
Okay,
I don't know
thank
if
you
it's
so
just because I'm your friend, but like,
that's my influencing comment again.
yeah, maybe I'm just as bad. I don't know. I think but I haven't seen you in public. So if we went to a game together, maybe I would be embarrassed.
Gather Round this year. So if anyone's listening from interstate and you're coming over for Gather Round, look out for the Loose and Moose pod. We'll be there at Collingwood Hawthorn on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Have we... I guess I could explain it. Like my thing last year, like just to talk about like something that's kind of cooked, but like not about swearing or doing anything crazy. I had a crazy thing on round one. Again, like everyone went to bed. I was just watching the game. We were getting smoked by Geelong. I think it was round one. We ended up coming back and winning. But for some reason, I'm like, every goal we kick this year, I'm going to do 5 push-ups.
I was literally going to ask you that the next question, like, where did that come from?
So
that was just a thing you started last year.
I kind of done it like on and off because like, you know, the bravado thing and like, I'll do a push-up when they do it. And I think like a couple of times in the NBA, like if people fall over and it's a foul or whatever, they'll like do push-ups on the ground because, you know, why not? And then I think it's just started from that. And then it was just so funny. And then I just did it. And then I'm kind of like, well, I normally have a few drinks when I'm doing this. So if normal me, right? Like everything to the extreme. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'm drinking. But let's also do... You know, some of the games I was doing 100 push-ups in a game.
So it
like
all
just 5. Like if you said do 100 push-ups now, I'd probably get to 10 and die. But do it for some reason after a goal with the adrenaline.
Yeah.
5 at a time.
It's all the adrenaline.
And then you'd wake up the next day and it'd be like, I'm so sore. And then I'm like, oh yeah, because we won and we kicked heaps of goals. That was just such a cool thing. And then like, well, you saw it at the back end of the year in the finals, but like if people come to my house, I would really try and get them to do the push-ups, like our friend Lon when they'd come and even Jared and stuff. Like it was just like another ridiculous thing at Moose's house. Like, all right, we kicked a goal, let's go.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it. How did it evolve into the dick push-ups?
That's a very good question, Lucy.
Your dad said that as well. Or keep doing the dick push-ups, son.
I'm so proud of you, Bruce. I should fact check this, but like I got the dick push-up thing from I swear it's like Tenacious D or something like that.
Oh, wait.
Isn't
yeah, that does kind of ring a bell.
Or something like that, or Dave Grohl was the demon in that or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Something
that's
like that. And
Tenacious
it just
D.
stuck from the band days. We used to say it a little bit. And like there was no way in hell I was doing push-ups like back then. And it was just, I've always said that and people laughed. So I would have kept saying it. And then like it was just this most ridiculous thing ever because it's the stupidest thing ever. Right. And then, yeah, like obviously I was very excited on grand final day and away we go.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
I was like, did he really just say keep doing dick push-ups?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so that's kind of where that come from, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm so sorry for anyone that's listening that thinks that I don't say that kind of stuff.
That's just the start.
Yeah.
I do think you're pretty funny, but like I really was shocked how into it you get.
I love that first time that you came because that was what was it? It was the prelim or it was the final.
Yeah.
Like, it was coming straight into like insane time. Like it wasn't just like mid-season. Like let's go over on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting this kind of behavior.
Yeah. You loved it because it was like just showed a different side of.
Yeah. I've always had you on a pedestal, like the GOAT, perfect, does everything great. And then that really
Kicked the
humbled
pedestal
you.
over that night, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like, oh, okay.
I actually
He's
hate this guy.
maybe not that cool after all.
No. Yeah. That beanie doesn't suit the head.
Yeah.
New beanie, new me. So.
The after Collingwood won, a guy probably like similar to our age.
Did we win?
Sorry, who were the 2023 premiers?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Collingwood. I thought you were talking about something else.
Collingwood.
Yeah, Collingwood.
Okay, so Collingwood Magpies.
Yeah.
The 2023 premiers.
Oh shit,
all
it's
right.
on here.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Back to back. You're guilty.
And who's their player number 4?
Bruzzy, or he calls himself the Bruz. Toughest guy in the league. He would do dick push-ups.
Oh man. So after Collingwood won, there was a guy probably like similar age to us crying, like so many tears, bawling his eyes out. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is a big deal to see your team win the grand final. Like it is exciting and men are allowed to show emotions. That's cool. But the TikTok was his wife posting it being like he didn't even shed one tear when our daughter was born. He's just like absolutely bawling at the footy.
Oh, fuck. I think you know this, but like we've had a few where Lauren's definitely got emotional because we lost a grand final in 2018 again by like a kick or two.
I remember that.
And it's good and bad for me because my birthday is start of October, so it normally is within a couple of days.
Yeah,
and that was like I think that literally landed on my birthday.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like wow, your team's in the grand final on your birthday, like all of this shit's lining up, and then like to have such a close game like that, just to be like, that's the beauty of sports, right? Like it's like me peacocking here because our team won, but then we could come out this year and absolutely be dog shit, and it's just like the worst 3 hours of your week. Like it's the risk I guess you take with sports.
True.
Like, you can't control anything.
Yeah, it's true. Do you cry?
No, I haven't cried. Like when we lost that grand final, I definitely was like upset and probably would have walked out and shot some basketball hoops where everyone's like talking and stuff like that, or just had like a couple of moments by myself.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like I definitely have got better recently, even like with it annoying me, like being at work, you know what I mean? And like, oh, you check the scores and you lose. Like it used to like derail my day.
Yeah.
Where now I'm like, all right, you're 38 years old. You know what I mean? Like you're allowed to be enjoying things and you're allowed to be pissed off, but like, you know, there's more to.
Yeah. I do think like it, yeah, like I said, men are allowed to show emotions and I think crying is fine. It's just.
Maybe do it when your daughter's born and when you win the grand final, not just the football.
I was thinking about this and we were preparing for this episode with cooked behavior at a game and how like majority of this cooked behavior we're talking about is men and how like you're allowed to show all these emotions and get really angry about your team losing, and if you do you're like, oh, he's just really passionate about his team.
Yeah. Whereas
like I know I keep talking about Taylor Swift, but we compare like how much flack all these girls are getting for getting really emotional over Taylor Swift, and it's a lot from men. It's like, how come there's these double standards where like men are allowed to be so excited about their football team and crying, but when girls do it over Taylor Swift, it's like, grow up.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I definitely don't like disagree with that, and I've definitely like noticed a lot of the Taylor stuff. And you make a really good point because it's literally the same thing. It's people's passions, and you're showing a shit ton of emotion. And I guess either way, if you don't like it, like it's not even up to your opinion if you like it or not.
Exactly.
Like just play on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and there's been so many comments about like, oh, like big deal that Taylor Swift had that many fans. Like Collingwood get that every week, and it's like, yeah, so they're both really cool. Just let we'll let you Collingwood fans enjoy your time, and like just let Taylor Swift fans enjoy their time as well. But the other thing that got me thinking was like, growing up, I loved footy so much, but I never had a chance to play. Like I was, like I missed that boat of like now it's a bit more common for girls to play.
Yep.
So I'm so excited that AFLW is becoming big because like my first experience playing, I did Auskick, but that was kind of all I could do. And I loved Auskick. I thought it was so fun. And then I think it was year 8 in high school. There was like, you know, inter-school carnivals. I got to do an AFL one there.
Yeah, nice.
I had so much fun. I borrowed some actual like footy boots from someone and I was like, oh my God, you run so fast with these on.
Yeah.
Like when with normal shoes on grass, you don't run as fast because they dig into the ground.
I love that as a kid. Like that just brought back so many memories. Like just putting your boots on.
Yeah, so fun.
Pulling the socks up.
Yeah. And I feel like, a lot of little boys would experience that when I was like 5 years old or whatever. And I didn't experience it till I was like, 13.
Yep.
And I was like, this is so cool. And it's just like, it's cool that it's changing, but it's sad that I like missed that because I was really sporty as a kid. Like I played netball and basketball. And I would have played footy as well if I could have. And it's really cool now. Like I know a girl who she's only 17 and I really think she's going to play for AFL. Like she's so good. And she's getting to that age where I feel like it will happen this year or next year or whatever.
The women's leagues have just got like the quality is just so good now. Like you watch the AFLW and it's insane. And it's funny with Auskick or even with Ella, like it's funny because like at a lot of them, like the girls are very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's really cool to see that. Like if anything with Ella and that, like I've got to like tame her a little bit. I'm like, you're too good. Like, you know, your brother's going to be upset if you continue to go as hard as what you are. But no, I think like it's, and even for me, like it's like, you know, when I knew we'll talk about AFLW, like even for the Collingwood AFLW team, like, you know, I'll watch like probably only a couple of games of the season. And when I do, I really enjoy it. And there's been times that like Ella's watched it and she loves just seeing that.
Yeah.
But I feel like AFL in general, like really needs to bridge that gap. And that's going to be like, you know, paying them a shit ton more. So then it becomes a professional sport where they're not doing both.
They have to have a job.
Yeah.
Like they can't just have this as their full-time job, can they? Yeah.
But like when you watch the quality now, like I remember watching some of the grand final last year. It's just like it's insane. Like it's as good as watching the guys team, like which is awesome. And like we've got a friend that we used to work with who's like an amazing football player, and like you watch all the stuff that she posts. It's just like it's just so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah, like the future generations, it will just be like everyone can play footy, and it's fine. It's also cool that I don't know heaps, but like I know you've got like Abby Holmes, who's like she's out there on the field commentating all the time, and then there's other women commentators, and isn't there a woman on the footy show as well? Yeah, like
Beck. Things
like that are cool.
Yeah.
So it makes me think maybe Loose and Moose could do some commentating. Like instead of is it press red for Eddie, it would be like press yellow for Loose and Moose.
I have thought about this. You know how you manifest everything?
Yeah.
This is a dream for me.
Yeah.
It was a dream for me before I was podcasting, and I always joked about it because I thought I was hilarious when I watched footy, right?
Yeah.
And now I've got a wing person, and we have our own platform.
Yeah.
And we now have another Collingwood fan.
Yeah.
Collingwood FC, please. If anyone wants to trial this, KO, anyone, we're available.
Yeah. I love I think our dynamic is cool as well because obviously like you're a footy person, you know all the footy things to say, like when they do the footy things.
Like kick it up their guts through the big sticks.
Yeah. So no, like you say, you know the more technical things, whereas like as much as I'm saying I've always loved footy, like I never really know the exact rules and stuff, and I always feel like the rules change as well, so like I don't know a lot, but like my commentary is like, oh, that's a bit of an ick. Why did he do that for? I don't like the way he kicked that. That was a bit cringe.
I love the guy's long hair.
Yeah, like who's that guy with long hair?
He can fucking cop it.
Yeah, he can cop it. and oh, I like his moustache, or I don't like his moustache. Like there's a lot of that kind of commentary.
Yeah.
So I think what I could bring to the table is like I'll get the girlies interested in footy, like the same way that Taylor Swift has got the girlies interested in NFL.
Yeah. And I'll keep the nuffies occupied with the footy talk.
There'll be something for everyone.
Yeah, nice.
When you press yellow for loose and moose. If I just keep saying that, will that become a thing?
I like it.
Yeah.
It'll be trending.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we put you to the test? Just do a bit of like, it's pre-season currently, right? Should we have a little pre-season?
I guess.
Okay. So when I'm talking about kicking it out on the full, what does that mean?
I feel like I've never really known what this means. To me, it means. So, firstly, what are they actually saying on the full, like FULL?
Yeah.
On the full.
The full.
On the full. So, you kick it out on the full. In my head, it means that you've kicked it out of the field.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have like a tick thing here.
Yay!
All right. So I said it before, but we're kicking it through the big sticks. You want the big sticks or the small sticks?
I'm not that cringe. I do know the basics, obviously.
How much do you get through the big sticks? How many points?
6 points.
6 points.
That was my fingers imitating the two big sticks.
Okay, cool.
6 points through the two big sticks. And then if you go into either of the big sticks, it's 1 point.
Yep. All right, moving on. Best ruckman in the game currently?
Obviously Mason Cox.
Coxie. I was thinking you maybe were thinking that we haven't said Coxie enough on this. So, I'm just bringing it up.
We can never talk about Coxie enough.
Never. What about the Brownlow night? What are we celebrating on Brownlow?
Like everyone's outfit?
Correct. How do you win the Brownlow? What do you have to do?
Have a really good outfit. No, I know it's like I don't know. I think what it is every game somebody votes like best player or something, and then the person with the most votes. It's like best and fairest except for the whole entire league.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually right.
Yeah. And the only if you get reported, you're excluded. So that's the only thing that you have to be careful. So you can have the most points, but say you have been rubbed out for a game, you automatically aren't the best and fairest because you've done something to give you a report.
Did you say rubbed out?
Yeah, it's footy terms. You'll learn.
Is that a term?
Yeah.
So you rubbed out from that
fuck 'em.
lineup. Okay. And then so what kind of things do you get excluded for? Like punching someone?
Yeah, bumping's a big one. Like poor old Bruzzy nearly missed the grand final and stuff because he did that massive bump in one of the things and knocked the player out. All of that sort of stuff, like you can get reported. Conduct, like big on like swearing and like having go at umpires and stuff now. But yeah, it's mainly like head high contact. They're huge on the head, which is fair enough, right? You don't want people.
Was there one? Well, it probably happens a lot, but was there one where it like was actually an accident, but they still got reported anyway? Was that Bruzzy?
Like, because he was sort of running at the ball, but then he jumped, and when you're in the air, it's kind of like, what can you do? Like, it wasn't a good look, and it was pretty bad, but.
Such a fine line though, because you just get real into it. I'm assuming, and you see the ball and you do the thing you need to do, but like. You're not probably thinking, I better not jump here because I'll get disqualified or whatever it's called.
And they were like, they played footy together as young kids, so it's not like he didn't even like him or whatever, like genuine mates, you know what I mean? So it's not like it was like a malicious act.
Was the guy okay?
No. Yeah. He's he didn't play for the rest of the final series.
From a head injury?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it wasn't good.
That's the other thing. Sorry, I know you've got more things to test me on, but it's interesting with AFL that like there's no like protective gear that's actually mandatory. Like when, again, we've got to talk about Mason Cox more, but when he did his like 60 Minutes interview with like American 60 Minutes.
They lose their minds.
Yeah, and explaining to them that it's all this high contact stuff with no protective gear. It's wild. And then like what happened to him with his eyes and saying like,
crazy.
Should glasses be a thing and should helmets be a thing?
Have you ever watched some of that YouTube where you'll have like Americans reacting to Australia?
It's so funny.
Far out. That's the kind of stuff that like, that's the kind of vibe I want from the press yellow and
There was a
black.
funny clip where they said something about Coxie, and it was like stupid fucking Aussie, and they didn't know who he was. I thought that was, I can't remember what it was,
love
because
that.
he's a bit funny on the field. He does some questionable things, like
Hey, he's learned the game like, the last couple of years compared to all of us growing up with
yeah.
it.
And I think they said something, stupid Aussie, and he's like, haha, like I'm not, like I thought that was really funny.
But there's some funny, very, very funny stuff. But yeah, it's a brutal game.
Yeah.
Like it's, went to a game at Melbourne one time. We took Lauren's mum. Might have been her first time at the MCG. Young player from Collingwood, pretty funny name, but his last name was Broomhead. Same thing, like he was running down the goals, and like this is the G, it's a huge game, and like literally ran. You know how they're always like when the ball's right near the goal, they still try and soccer it in and stuff. Soccered it in, kicked the post, and snapped his leg, and like I can still like hear the snap, and like you instantly knew it was horrific because on TV, like obviously they would move on to something else. At the game, we're sort of like. Like
what part of his leg snapped?
Like what's that one?
Or like your shin bone, whatever that is.
One that shouldn't be like in pieces. But yeah, there's some horrific injuries.
Yeah. I've seen Americans reacting to like compilations of injuries. That's kind of cooked, but also kind of funny. Their reactions are funny.
Anyway, I'm just getting so excited. This is the stuff. We've just now sat there and talked about all of this random stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of football.
Yeah. So if we were commentating, how entertained would you be right
so
now?
good. And then like you put a game in front of us.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
us some emotion.
Yeah. With your dick
it's probably going to have
push-ups.
to be rated. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It needed to be rated. I'm thinking R18 plus. This is not.
Yeah.
My best work is not done in
Yeah.
PG.
Yeah. Mine, like a player comes on screen and I'm like, smash.
And then I'm just screaming at them while fucking doing push-ups. I think we will still do some form of like a last quarter or last 5 minutes or something because it will be a bit of fun and it'll be awesome just to throw a segment together on one of these episodes. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah, we'll have to at least do it once and then see how people like it. And then if people like it, we can do it more.
Yeah.
I think it'll be funny.
It'll be funny. It'll be worth it. How good. Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for allowing probably the Even Up episode where we delved into Taylor Swift and then we've now made it even and delved into AFL, and very timely because, for the next 6 months, somehow some parts of the household are going to be super happy and the others are like, fuck, is footy on again? Yeah.
It's really exciting. I think I'm actually going to be like a whole entire season now of being excited about footy again.
How good. What's your prediction for grand finalist and then the premiership win?
I think honestly, like this will sound biased because of everything we've said, but I think the culture at Collingwood is just so good that they just have to win again. I just think that it's not a question, like they will win, because even in between all the TikToks and everything, like they just seem so like in sync. I don't know. Yeah. That's my prediction.
I'm just so excited because a couple of weeks' time when we watch that doco and that being at Hoyts and stuff, like, come on.
So cool.
So cool. It's just going to get us pumped up for that.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. I can't wait till the end of September when we're sitting here doing the grand final episode.
See if our
hopefully
prediction
not
was
here.
right.
We'll be doing it from...
what's your prediction?
We're Collingwood.
Obviously.
Back to back is insane to get. Like a lot of things got to go right because every team now wants to come out and beat Collingwood, so it's going to be a tough year. But I'm excited. Can you hit us with the Go Pies?
Oh, you can't say that now without me thinking of the infamous Go Pies thing.
Grand final day.
Yeah, I got to tell everyone. Can we post the video?
We've deleted the video, haven't we?
I'm posting it. I am posting it. You have no say in this. So it was, because it was Moose's birthday on grand final day, and then he was absolutely schnitzeled. Like,
very schnitzeled.
So cooked. Best day ever.
Yeah.
I was pretty schnitzeled myself, having the best day ever. And then, Lauren had the genius idea to make some meat pies at, I don't know,
goat level food.
10 at night when we were all cooked. Yeah, goat level stuff. And then, I just have the most cooked video ever of me filming Moose at like this angle in the 0.5 lens a really high angle in the 0.5 lens. He thought I was taking photos and I was actually filming and he was eating a meat pie, and then you're going to have to just insert it here because it's just Moose absolutely cooked. Say go pies.
Good boys.
Please stop.
Hot boys.
Good pies, hot pies. That's right. Good pies.
Anyway, go pies.
Just real quick, sorry to cut you off then, but we're just thinking then, I'm very on schnitzel. That's a strong word for drinking.
Yeah,
That's an underused word.
Yeah, sorry, I stole that from you. I think that's the funniest way to describe someone who's drunk.
Schnitzeled.
Yeah, I think before like that, I would always say plastered or cooked or paro. I was going to say dero, no, paro. And then you came into my life and started saying schnitzel. That's so funny.
I don't know where I stole that from. I didn't make it up.
so
I definitely stole it from someone as per normal. But yeah, that's a strong one.
It's great. I love it. And it's the best. Like you hit levels. You could be cooked, you could be paro. Schnitzeled is like up the very top.
Kid friendly.
Yeah.
Don't have to beep it out.
They don't know what that means.
See, everyone at the football start using that word instead of
come get schnitzeled with loosened moose. Press yellow to get schnitzeled with loosened moose.
Well, I would love to wish everyone's team good luck this year, but it's pointless. So go Pies from me and bring it on back to back.
Go Pies, and hit our comments up with some either like really funny banter you've heard before or like ideas for some banter I can use because like I said, all I'm going to comment on is like the players' hair and stuff. So yeah, comment some banter. We love to see it.
Boom, footy's back.
Go Pies.